So there are these three dogs, Beaker, Bunsen, and Bernese. They're internet famous. But in the summer of 2024, they went from helping with science experiments to being part of one, thanks to a medical emergency and a life-saving reminder for pet owners. Now, I don't want to pick favorites, but this story centers around the oldest of the bunch, 7-year-old Bunsen.
I always thought he was invincible.
Summer 2024. How did you know something wasn't quite right with him?
It happened extremely fast. He had some vomiting, which isn't out of the realm of possibility because dogs do throw up. And quite quickly he vomited lots and he was uncomfortable and he couldn't lay down, he couldn't stand up. Everything was very, very uncomfortable, and those are signs of bloat, which we thought at the time that's what he has and that's life-threatening. So that's when we rushed him to the emergency room.
They took him to the Animal Emergency Hospital in Red Deer, Alberta, but testing only raised more questions about his abdomen.
So I explored his abdomen with an ultrasound, so looking inside with an ultrasound to see what could be happening in here, and indeed we saw this great big fluid-filled structure in his abdomen. There's a lot of people around, they were saying, "What's that?" And I said, "I don't know."
The family shared the ordeal on social media, fearing that if Bunsen didn't pull through, that would be harder news to share with their tens of thousands of followers.
Social media doesn't always have its place, right? But all of a sudden when you get that kind of support when you need it so much.
I'm getting emotional. It was a tough time.
And the tough time became tougher with Bunsen undergoing abdominal surgery.
Did you literally like slice it down the middle and then?
I did. It was a spectacle. The whole clinic was watching as we did it.
It's gross. A fluid-filled mass the size of a volleyball. They sent it to a pathologist in Calgary for testing.
She said to me, "I think this is a hydatid cyst caused by a parasite called Echinococcus multilocularis." And I was surprised to hear that. I think she was surprised to tell me that.
We were contacted by vets all over North America, and they're like, "This is insane. We sometimes hear about this in vet school."
Before we go any further, here's a simple explanation of how this parasite usually spreads. The parasite can be inside a coyote, fox, or a dog. The eggs wind up in its feces. A rodent, like a mouse, eats the eggs. Then that mouse is eaten by the coyote, fox, or the dog. But the cycle doesn't always end there.
It could have gone to the other pets.
Yes.
And even to you?
Yeah, so it's
It's not funny. I don't mean to laugh. It's just shocking.
So it was really funny. After we were told that, we're like, ooh, kind of itchy. Do we have cysts inside us? Because people can get tapeworm cysts too. It's rare, but it can. So if somehow Bunsen was both the intermediate host and the dominant host, he could have spread those tapeworm eggs to everybody who touched him or handled them, right? Which was us, which was all of our other dogs, any mammals, the cat.
So these scientists became the specimens until more tests cleared them.
What's unique about Bunsen is that we didn't find parasites in his feces. He wasn't suffering from a parasitic infection the way that I just described. In fact, he was behaving more like the mouse.
How he became this rare carrier, they'll likely never know. But as the parasite becomes more common in places like Alberta, it's something pet owners need to know about and take precautions against.
So washing your hands after you play with dogs, cleaning up the poop in their backyard, and regularly deworming your dog, according to veterinarians' advice.
Yeah. It's now been a few months since Bunsen's surgery.
You can see he's totally normal. He's full of shenanigans and he wants to play.
Veterinarians say there's no way the Zukowskis could have known what was happening inside their barrel-chested bodyguard. They just hope it never happens again. Nancy Carlson, CBC News, Red Deer, Alberta.